Juneteenth Foundation. And I'm especially happy for the First Agape at Gibson Grove, which is connected to Moses Hall, because I am the presiding elder of that church. So that pastor at that church, I'm his boss. And so it's good to know that they have not begun a restoration effort and not have the community come together, as you did for this church, to support them and the many other endeavors around Montgomery County. I'm looking forward to a wonderful, wonderful time. Listen, we need you. Get the word out. Share it with your family, your friends, your neighbors. Put it on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere you can put it out. They don't want to miss this Juneteenth. I will be joining the Howard University Choir singing, not actually on stage. I'll be singing from my seat. But I am looking forward to it, and I am certainly grateful to all of the people behind me who has helped to make this possible. We can't do it without you. We need your support. So show up in a great way, and you won't go home the same way you came. I heard Letitia say that the goal is to bring a chair to the table. Well, I've decided, I've lived long enough, about 60 years now, that if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring your own chair. So thank you again.
Wow, that's a tough act to follow. Good afternoon. I am State Delegate Lily Chi, and it's so wonderful to be back so soon after the ribbon cutting, which seemed like yesterday, but it was a couple of weeks ago. I have a feeling that we'll be back to this beautiful gathering place for many more happy occasions to come, right? Juneteenth, just like the Martin Luther King Day, is an American holiday for all of us. We often talk about how diverse and how wonderfully diverse today's Montgomery County is, and I'm proud to be part of that diversity. We are majority minority. We are 1/3 foreign born, for someone who grew up in another country. But as we celebrate diversity and newcomers, it is important to remember our heritage and honor what made us who we are today. For those of us who didn't have the opportunity to grow up as Americans, this new federal holiday called the Juneteenth is a great opportunity for us to learn an essential piece of American history and identity. At a time when some people are reminiscing about the good old days, and when some in offices of high power are actively promoting white supremacy and white nationalism, honoring Juneteenth reminds all of us of what really makes America great and special. Now, I represent the largest geographic district in the most populous county in the Maryland State House, called District 15, from Potomac to Poseville, loosely. It actually starts with Porridge Park, Shirley Porridge Park, the ballpark at the tip of Bethesda, all the way to like a Frederick border. And it's very geographically, culturally, and politically diverse. Of course, we have been involved in many meaningful projects across our wonderful district and Montgomery County. But of all the work I have had the privilege of being part of, the Scotland community's revitalization and rebuilding is among the most rewarding and inspiring. I have to say, as proud as we are as a state of Maryland in terms of our ability to invest in this rebuilding effort, and I was very happy to hear from Pastor Huggins that after several years of hard work, we finally, the original tranche of money awarded to the church for the rebuilding efforts finally got released. Of all the, it's approved, okay. So we secured the funding, but you still had to go through a lot of bureaucracy with the state of Maryland across several departments and all of that to actually get the money. But I'm glad it's finally done. But whatever the state of Maryland was able to contribute was a tiny fraction and a small investment compared to the enormous contribution that this church and this community is making, and the tremendous impact you are making to the state of Maryland, Montgomery County, and this great region. So thank you for uplifting all of us and making us feel so proud to be part of this community. and I'm looking forward to actively promoting and participating in the Juneteenth activities. Happy Juneteenth to everyone.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Andrew Friedson. I have the privilege and honor of being the council member who gets to represent this incredible community, the community where I was born and raised, the only place I've ever called home. And I am just so thrilled to be part of this Juneteenth Festival, to be part of this incredible church project. This started as an effort to rebuild a structure, and it has become an effort to restore a community. And it has been the most exciting, exhilarating, and moving aspect of anything that I have been able to do on the county council. I am thinking back to the moment where we were all here, Reverend Huggins had convened us, and right over my left shoulder, this historic structure, one of the most important buildings and most historic places in all of Montgomery County, was being held up by 2x4s. The basement was completely flooded above knee, and I want to say all the way up to hip length. And prior to that, it was actually even taller than that. Chuck is reminding me that it was up to his eyeballs. And we made a commitment. I made a commitment that this community was not going to fight this battle alone. Not this time. Too many times, in too many moments, when there were challenges and obstacles, not because of anything that this community did, but things that were placed upon this community, the Scotland community had to fight alone, by themselves, building this church and rebuilding this church with their bare hands. Not anymore. So what was a moment, in time is now a movement, and it's fitting that Juneteenth has become the seminal moment where we are going to celebrate this project, but also to support other similar restorative justice efforts throughout the county and celebrate the rich Black history that is central to Montgomery County's history and to our country's history on Juneteenth, on Freedom Day. Not the day when they became free, but the day they found out. The day where that freedom was actually realized, actualized, and was felt. And it's important to note, we celebrate Freedom Day not on the day that the Emancipation Proclamation happened. That was January 1st, 1863, when it went into effect 2.5 years before Juneteenth. Not on the day that Robert E. Lee surrendered, which was on April 9th of 1865, weeks and weeks before. It was on the day where the individuals who were actually impacted, whose freedom was robbed of them, were actually able to have the opportunity to experience freedom. And that work, that effort, continues today here in Montgomery County and throughout the country at a time when there are those who are trying to dismantle Black history, erase it from history books, deny it from its rightful place in its existence as central to everything we are and we do. We are doing the opposite here in Montgomery County. And the Juneteenth Festival is a celebration of that. I've got to give a shout out to the Gasaway sisters. Tish doesn't throw a party for like an hour or a couple hours or even a day. Juneteenth is over a week. I'm pretty sure in a couple of years when we talk about Juneteenth month, we might be into years by the time all is said and done. But it is what is deserved. It is what is needed. You know, I've said before, talking about this important building, if these walls could talk, they would tell the story. Not the Scotland community story, not this AME Zion Church's story. They would tell all of our story. They would tell Montgomery County's story. They would tell our country's story. And on Juneteenth, in this festival, we are going to shout that story from the mountaintops, and we're going to do it together. We're not just building up and lifting up buildings, we're lifting up communities, and we're doing it together, and I can't wait to celebrate Juneteenth with you. And now it's my privilege to turn it over to two of my colleagues, starting with someone who has made history in her own right, Councilmember Lori-Ann Sales.
Thank you, Councilmember Friedson, and thank you to everyone who has ensured that this event is happening again, now in its third year. Thank you to the many partners who make this community event possible. We have Montgomery Parks, Minds in Motion, Cabin John Village, Whiting Turner, For Bright Bank, Big Train Baseball, the Glenstone Museum, Friends of Moses Hall, Carl M. Freedom Foundation, Visit Montgomery, and we cannot forget about the Gasway Girls. My name is Lori-Ann Sales, and I'm honored to serve as your at-large council member. As the first Black woman elected countywide to the Montgomery County Council, I have a profound understanding of the complex historical and systemic barriers that have disproportionately impacted the Black community. While the federal administration has rewarded organizations that roll back advancements in diversity, equity, and inclusion, here in Montgomery County, I'm committed to working with my colleagues to pass legislation prioritizing racial equity and social justice. I aim to uplift underrepresented voices, challenge the status quo, and advocate for a more inclusive and just society. The Scotland Juneteenth Heritage Festival represents more than just a celebration. It is a significant day for our diverse community to celebrate African Americans' resilience, bravery, and achievements. This festival is a testament to the resilience of the Black community, reminding us to recognize the strength of those who endured the horrors of 400 years of unpaid labor, kidnappings, brutal beatings, lynchings, rapings, and domestic servitude. It is also a time for kinship reflection and education, where families unite to honor their heritage, gain a deeper understanding of our history, and transform that pain into progress, and celebrate our enduring fight for justice. Celebrating Juneteenth creates the pivotal moment on June 19th, 1865, when federal troops finally arrived in Texas to enforce the end of slavery. 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, symbolizing a long overdue triumph of freedom and hope. Here in the DMV, Black communities were already forging their paths to liberation long before enforcement arrived. As early as 1848, 77 enslaved men, women, and children made a courageous attempt to escape to freedom aboard the schooner Pearl, making the largest known escape attempt from the Washington, D.C. wharf. In 1862, Washington, D.C. became the first jurisdiction where the federal government officially ended slavery, providing a beacon of hope in a time of profound injustice. Right here in Montgomery County, formerly enslaved African Americans laid the foundation for what is now known as Scotland, claiming land, building homes, and raising families in defiance of the system designed to erase them. Scotland embodies a story of survival, strength, and self-determination. From constructing 100 homes in 1968 to advocating for essential infrastructure today. 25 descendants of the community's founders still call Scotland home. Building a legacy is all about Scotland continuing to lead by example, and I'm a proud partner in this work. When we celebrate Juneteenth, we honor the legacy of pioneers like William Dove, the visionary architect of the Scotland community. As a formerly enslaved farm worker, Mr. Dove defied the odds to purchase land in Potomac, Maryland. The land that stretches from Democracy Boulevard to Montrose Road was known as Scotland. Originally a haven for injustice, it now symbolizes our community's ongoing journey toward healing, truth, and reconciliation. Now more than ever, we look forward to celebrating our freedom at the upcoming Juneteenth Festival. It will be a meaningful occasion to honor the courageous individuals who fought with unwavering spirit and bold protest. As we gather, we'll pay tribute to their sacrifices of blood, sweat, and tears, and take meaningful steps towards realizing the world our ancestors dreamed of. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorianne and Andrew, my colleagues on the council, and to the Gasaway sisters, and to Reverend Dr. Higgins. Thank you. You know, as a good AMEer or myself, I have to say I bring you greetings from the Reverend Dr. Matthew Watley at Kingdom Fellowship AME Church. That's how we say it in the church. You got to do that anytime you're in a church, so I wanted to make sure I said that. Thank you to all the sponsors and everyone who's here to celebrate. I've been able to participate in all three of the Scotland ceremonies over the years here for Juneteenth, and I've enjoyed it greatly because you've seen it grow, more sponsorship, more people being interested. It's coincided with President Biden, who we send our best wishes in his recovery, pushing very hard and working to establish Juneteenth as a federal holiday officially. We've been celebrating it here in Montgomery County for a while. I want to give a special shout out to Jim Stowe, who you'll hear from shortly. And not only do we have the Scotland Juneteenth Festival, we have a bunch of Juneteenth festivals that are happening across our region in Black Rock and Germantown and Kensington and other places. Scotland is the premier flagship, but we have a lot of great Juneteenth festivals going on, and we should, right? This is our history. This is our community. This is American history. In 1865, when folks were hearing in Texas, 40% of Montgomery County were enslaved black people. 40%. 100 years later, by 1950, we were less than 10,000 of the 164,000 people that lived here. It's a reminder that, and I said this a couple years ago when we celebrated Juneteenth, and I'll do that at the council in June. I appreciate the point about Letitia starts this thing like back in May, which is great because because we need to be leading on the runway, but we'll honor it at the council. But I brought up the fact that 100%, I'll say 99% because I wasn't alive, but 99% the enslaved black people in Texas who heard on June 19th, 1865, they knew they were already free. They had heard through the Underground Railroad and through oral histories and through song and chant. They knew there's no way they didn't know. Now, what they did is they were intelligent. They knew until they had the force of law to guarantee their freedom that they probably shouldn't try to leave altogether, right? There were some who took the chance, and as has always been part of our history, who ran away and enforced their rights as free people. They were always in free people. That's why it's always important to say enslaved, not slave. Their minds were free. They knew their souls were free. They lived freedom out in their families. And when General Granger came on that day and read General Order 3, it was the reality of the situation catching up to something they already knew. And I just think it's really important at events like this to actually make sure people read General Order 3. And I had it up on my phone, but I'll just paraphrase it because I know it. It says that all slaves are now free, and reflecting the Emancipation Proclamation, which was issued 2.5 years prior by the president. And it reminds those informally enslaved folks to stay where they are and work on those plantations where they were. Don't travel too far. And it says, don't be idle, because idleness will not be accepted. And I often bring up the fact, this is all in that order, the same order that we celebrate. It tells them to stay where they are and become sharecroppers and get no money, and to not be idle. Now, how are you going to tell the people who literally just built the country not to be idle? We literally built the country. And even in the order saying that we're free, it doubles down on the stereotypes that were used to reinforce our enslavement. It underscores the fact that that would start a 100-year period of Jim Crow and racial terror that would sweep this church up and knock it down several times and allow the Scotland community up the street not to have running water and all the things that needed to happen. That all happened post-Freedom Day, right? And here we are in 2025. I'm listening to testimony as a black council member, the second black person elected countywide. There's Ike Leggett, then there was 30 years, then me, then Lori Ann Sales, okay? I have to listen to folks from this church ask us to fix an aquifer, what's the thing called? Culvert, thank you, not aquifer. The culvert, so that the church doesn't get knocked down again. Think about how long we're dealing with this, and I think it's important. Juneteenth is a celebration, absolutely. Culture, music, because through all that we persevered. But it's also a reminder that these markers, we are still dealing with the deep, deep legacies of enslavement, of discrimination, of erasure, right? I said we were 40% of the population in 1865, less than 10,000 people of 164,000 in 1950. And 40 kinship communities, 40 historically black communities at the end of the Civil War. Many are gone. Many are gone. I live in one in Sandy Spring. And that's why I just really want to lift up Letitia and her sister's work and this church's work to not only focus on Scotland, but to focus on those other communities too. Because there's a lot of wrongs that need to be righted. There's a lot of history that needs to be told. Pleasantview, Tobytown, Jerusalem, Sandy Spring. And it's our job to do that work. We are the inheritance of that, you know, of Josiah Henson and Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, great Marylanders who did their part and passed it to us to tell those stories, but not just tell the stories, to do the work of rebuilding, repair. And this church is a symbol of that, but we've got a lot more to do. And that's what I think about with Juneteenth. I celebrate the moment. I'm excited. I'm going to go to the dunk contest and think about my days when I used to be able to dunk. And I'm going to eat the food and we're going to dance, but I'm also going to recommit, and I would ask that all of us recommit to the work of Juneteenth, of making sure that freedom truly is freedom, and it won't be until all of us are free, and we've got that work to do. So thank you and congratulations, and I can't wait to celebrate and get to work. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Mitty Figueredo. I'm Director of the Parks Department. And I'm also bringing greetings from my boss, Planning Board Chair Artie Harris. And I want to thank the Gasaway Sisters for inviting me to come and address you all. We are so excited for the third year of this Juneteenth celebration. You know, a number of our speakers have alluded to the fact that things are kind of weird right now. Feels like we're sort of in a dark place. My parents are immigrants, and sometimes I wake up and I read the news and my heart breaks because the promise that was made to them when they moved here feels like it's being broken a little bit more every single day. And at Montgomery Parks, you know, we're just a local parks department. You know, sometimes we look at each other and we say, what can we do? How can we heal anything or make anything better? And the answer to that question is this. It's what we're doing here right now. It's what we're planning. We have a role to play too. We're a Parks Department. We build community and we commemorate and we celebrate history. And so we are so proud and happy to be included in all of this and very grateful. And it's a lot of work. A lot of people put in a lot of work to make this, how long is this going to be? Like it's in a few years, it'll be like what, like 6 months of celebration? You know, dozens of park staff put in hundreds of hours, and that's just a part of it because of all the other work that goes into it. But at the end of it, it is so worth it, and we are so grateful to be part of it, and we want to extend our thanks to this community and look forward to another year of celebration and remembrance. Thank you.
I am Bruce Adams from Big Train Baseball, and at Big Train we say that baseball is our platform, but building a stronger community is our purpose, and it's been my passion. So when I learned about the role that baseball played in the black community back in the middle of the last century, I started to dig into it a little bit. I talked to my friend Reverend Tim Warner, and he said, our history dies with our people. And I'm like, nah, that shouldn't happen. So the greatest Negro League player to come out of Montgomery County was a guy named Clarence Pint Israel. And so we started 4 years ago the Pint Israel Juneteenth Classic, a baseball game between our Bethesda Big Train College wooden bat team and the team from Gaithersburg. So we're going to have our 4th annual event this year. We're going to have the Simmons Negro League museum folks come bring all their memorabilia to that. Our team will be wearing our Eagles jersey. Every player will have an Eagles jersey on. We're going to have the choir of this church is going to do a pre-game concert and sing both anthems for us. So that will be cool. We will try to get you a jersey. We gave out jerseys the second year. We gave out T-shirts the first year. We gave out baseball cards last year. We cannot keep up with the Gasaway sisters. We are not going to have a camel. But we are going to have a Pint Israel bobblehead. We're going to give out 500 of them to celebrate this. So please, we'll have a supper for our friends from the various different African American communities, as we have had the last 3 years, at 5 o'clock. We moved the game up to 6, so we won't have the fireworks going off. That was cool, though. I got a great picture that we're putting on the cover of our program of the fireworks going off with the baseball players on the field. We're not doing that this year. We're having the supper at 5. We're having the concert at 5, a little mini concert at 5:30. We're having the game at 6. We should be over. The fireworks should be going off just beyond our field right at 9 o'clock. So everybody come out June 19th. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here. My name is Joseph Hooks. I'm the founder of 480 Club and 480 Cares. Excuse me for my voice. I am known as Coach Hooks. I'm very humbled and grateful to be here to celebrate the Juneteenth Festival with hosting a football clinic with my partner from GG Promo LLC. Football has brought a lot of our community together, and especially the African American community through opportunity. And 480 Club started about 11 years ago, and now 2 of them are in the NFL. Many of them are fathers, college graduates, business owners, and so I'm really honored to partner with Coach Joe at Churchill High School to host a free clinic. We're going to have free T-shirts, some of the top trainers, just teach the game and have fun for everybody. Football has brought so much community together, and I'm looking forward for that free day on June 18th from 6 to 8 at Churchill High School, so please sign up. We only have the first 150 free T-shirts, but you know, I'll just say as a small black business owner, we know how to make a little go a long way. And those who came before me, this church, this community, where I'm from, Montgomery Village, we've continued to do that. And to show our county, our state, what we need to thrive, not just survive. And so I'm really honored to be a grant recipient because I will make that money triple, double, more so to go help others along the way. I also want to bring to light in the awareness that football is also in trouble. We don't have that many football fields in Montgomery County. When it rains, we can't get a permit. African American organizations have depleted over the years. We have lost Firebirds, Colesville, Wheaton Boys and Girls Club, Montgomery Village shut down 2 months ago. I can go on. Sandy Springs, GSA. we're losing black kids every day. I've lost 2 to suicide in the last 3 months. I've lost many to prison, right? But we try to make the small wins. And so I asked our state, our county, to invest in the game of football so we can have the safe spaces to provide opportunity for everybody. And even more happy to say, for our girls too. Everyone can enjoy football. And we have so many African-American head coaches in MCPS, more than when I first started playing, but we need more spaces to play so that we can teach this game that are life skills that prepare you for life beyond the game of football and help you push academically and to be good peer-to-peer relationships and community members of society. So again, I'm excited to bring this clinic with partners. I'm really glad to be a recipient, and I will not let you down. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? Great. I'm Chef Sammy Davis. I guess I'm in charge of the food piece, the most important piece. And it's a real honor. I had no idea it was this big. When the young lady reached out to me, I thought it was just like a little thing or whatever. I thought it was something I could knock this out. I had no idea it was this. So I'm sitting back there, and I listen to this guy talk, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is a real Juneteenth. Yeah, this is a real. So I was like, oh, I submitted the menu already, but I'm sitting here texting. I'm like, we can't do that menu. We got to do something else. Like, this is like really big. And so as somebody, the only affiliation I got with Montgomery County, this is Montgomery County, Potomac, is my heart doctor. I have a new heart this year. And so my heart doctors are here. And so that's the only affiliation I've ever had with Montgomery County at Bethesda Hospital. But on the food side, my grandmother died 20 years ago, and she left us 60 acres. It's a whole plantation in a place called Manquin, Virginia, right outside of Richmond. She left it to me and my sisters, and they grow corn. So I'm like, how can we get food off the plantation from the farmers and make it be a part of this, and really just bring it together? And so as I'm rewriting the menu, I'm like, we can do like the barbecue corn thing that's really, really good. It's a recipe. I can go down there and get the corn from the farmers who farm the land. We charge them no rent at all. They was farming it long before I was born, and we allow them to keep doing it. And so we're gonna go down there, get the corn, and we're gonna bring stuff from from the plantations that we now own, and we're gonna do the food there. We're gonna give y'all some good food, all right?
Yes, good afternoon. Now, Reverend Huggins, I'm Baptist, so we say things a little bit differently. So I'm going to say good afternoon again. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Amen. Amen. I am so delighted to be here, and actually I am here in the stead for County Executive Mark Elrich, who took ill this afternoon and was not able to be here, and so I was asked to come and just say a word on his behalf, and also in congratulations and support of the upcoming Juneteenth Festival. Mark has been involved with that effort, your effort, our collective efforts, since its inception. He continues to be very strongly supportive of this event, and I am sure, unless something really, really, really difficult happens, he will be present and involved throughout the entire week, Sister Gasquet, the entire week of events that are going on. And so I just wanted to come and just share that. I would be remiss if I did not also say that on the 20th of June, we're going to have this year as a county government the culminating, again, Juneteenth activity that the county will be sponsoring at Black Rock Center for the Arts. And on the 20th, we are celebrating and lifting up African American living legends. And we're hopeful that some of the room in this room, for instance, might have somebody that they can nominate. We're taking nominations until the 1st of June. Criteria: at least 75 years young and having contributed something meaningful to this community, such that it has been uplifted by those efforts. And so if you know persons who may fit that particular criteria, all we're asking for is just a one-page narrative that will share why you believe he or she deserves to be recognized as an African-American living legend here in Montgomery County. That'll be on the 20th of, again, June at 7 o'clock at Black Rock Center for the Arts. It'll be a marvelous program. We will celebrate those persons. We don't do enough celebrating of our elders in Montgomery County. And so it's an effort to make sure that we do that in cooperation with the African American Advisory Group. And we're working hard to make sure that happens throughout not only this occasion that I'm talking about, but throughout the year. Because again, they are our source, and I'll never ever forget on whose shoulders I stand. I'm very clear about that. I'm very clear about that. And then on the 21st, we'll have a day-long series of activities starting at 10 o'clock, and then we'll go, I'm sorry, at 12 o'clock, but we'll go to 10 o'clock in the evening. We've got, again, all kinds of activities going on we have a children's section this year. We have all kinds of things going on that will be, again, a blessing to all of you who may attend, and I'm hopefully the entire community will attend because it's that important, and I hope that, in fact, will happen. But we'll have, again, and we'll have an outdoor stage, as a matter of fact. We'll have bands going on throughout the day. We'll have reggae. We're going to end with the James Brown tribute. And so for those of you who know that, I'm Black and I'm Proud. We'll do a little piece of that as well. So it's going to be a full day of activities for you on that day. Great food as well. We'll have vendors also there present to buy goods from as well. So, again, a full day from 12 p.m. until 10 p.m. at Black Rock Center for the Arts. So please come out to this free event. One last thing. Juneteenth, as our council member Jawando said, did represent an opportunity for those who had already gotten the word somehow or another that they were freed, vis-a-vis through the earlier announcement. But there were still some folks, as I understand, who did not believe that they were free. They had been done what was referred to in the days of Muhammad Ali. They had done the rope-a-dope too many times on them in the past. So they didn't believe it. So some stayed. And as he read the passage relative to stay where you are locally and don't be idling, what do you think that was? That was an invitation to stay, right? Enslaved. That's what it was. Remember now, Abraham Lincoln didn't do this because he loved black folks. That's not what happened. This was a military position that he took in order to bring the Union back together. That's what that's about. That's what that was all about. So when this actually happened, there were people who did not believe that they were free. Some of us today don't believe that we are free, that we are due access to the various things we talk about. The covert, don't be asking for the covert. Demand the covert. This is your community. You pay taxes. Folks, we got to start pushing back because the fight for freedom is not over. Don't let nobody, again, fool you about that. But it's time for those of us who look like you, me and you, and those who don't look like me and you, to support and push forward a country that is, again, available for every single person. That's what's required with Juneteenth. It's a celebration that finally the ideal of being in a country that, in fact, was for everyone might be realized. But some 20 years later, we're right back where we started from. With Jim Crow, as stated by Councilmember Jawando. And my friends, in 2025, there was a book written up about what we're going to do then to extinguish the identity of black folks. And currently being followed out and carried out by the President of the United States of America. Tell me the difference. What have we learned? Where's a celebratory opportunity to live in a country that we, in fact, all live together? But more importantly, where is our outrage? Where is our outrage? Everything that's happened is being done in plain sight. Nobody's even hiding it. In plain sight. So I'm saying, one of the things I'm going to do this Juneteenth is not only to celebrate, be entertained, eat the great food. I'm going to also do my own research and study about this whole part in town and our history. I want to know more about what's going on here in Montgomery County as someone who lives here as well. And then I'm also go a step further. I'm going to try to also invest in understanding what's going on in my county government and being a part of that, a participatory part of that. Not just when you need something. Hold us accountable every single day because we all work for you, not the other way around. So again, I'm so very happy to be here on behalf of the county executive. I may not come back again on behalf of the county executive, but I'm glad to be here today and to share with you at least some things that are going on in our county, but more important, to implore upon you, Doc, it is so important that people clearly understand then all that you all have gone through to make this a project the way it is today. And we ought to salute you in every way possible. If we've not done some sort of declaration for you and this community in our county council chambers, we need to get that done. Because everybody ought to know, not those who are able just to come here and be a part of this process, right? I'm talking about the entire county ought to know what you have done. And I see Paul back there and the work they've done. So it's just so important that we, in fact, tell this story. We need good stories to tell. Again, we must push back because the fight for freedom is not over.
I don't want to leave here this afternoon without thanking my team, some are in the hallway, for standing with us, because it is a lot. Juneteenth, it takes a village. We also want to thank all of you for joining us this afternoon. Go to juneteenthscotland.org for more information, and we'll see you then.